I'm 26.6, not 26 and a half. Nah, 26.6, 26 years and 6 months. And here are 6 things I learned in the past 6 months. Buckle up because this is Vlogmas Remixed. Number one, and this relates directly to my 2025 word of the year consistency. Consistency can look different every single day. The most important thing is to continue to show up. Keep showing up, even when it is hard. As a student and somebody who is, going through different things, it can be a little bit challenging to keep showing up for your dreams, especially as some of you know, I'm trying to do content creation because in my first year of university, the director of my department had said that you are all content creators. And so I took that as a challenge because, yeah. So I've been trying to work on content creation for the past year plus on a serious level, especially as it relates to YouTube and TikTok. And I decided recently that I wanted to start doing a lot of long form videos. You've seen that my YouTube is mostly shorts as it stands. But what I've learned is that showing up each and every single time, even when it's a little bit challenging, even when it is hard, is what is important. It is what breeds the consistency, it's what breeds the discipline. Number two, God will ruin your plans to make way for his plans. So in first and second year of university, I was living on campus. And many of you would know that I was living on the AZ Preston Hall. And I had a blast living on the hall for 2 years. Had a really good time, made amazing friends, had tons and tons of incredible opportunities simply because I was living on campus. Now, I wasn't able to live on campus this academic year. And I have been commuting from Clarendon because of that. Now, because I'm commuting from Clarendon, I have to travel on the bus all the time. Earlier this year, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, the JUTC, launched some routes from my end of the world, so Clarendon to Old Harbour, etc. And because of that, I started traveling on the buses. They also launched free transportation for students for the months of September and October. And so I started traveling on those buses for free. What would have cost me about 1,500 every single day round trip for school ended up costing me around $200 to $400 when I had to take public transport outside of the JUTC, or could be completely free if somebody was able to pick me up from my final stop. God will ruin your plans to make way for his. And that specific JUTC story segues into something else. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And that's the third thing I learned. Now, when school started, and of course, because I'm taking content creation a little bit more seriously, I decided that I wanted to post about the free service because I realized that not many students, especially tertiary students, were taking up the opportunity to travel for the free. So I went on TikTok where I tend to get over 100K views or 50K views, like on average, and said, okay, let me tell the story. And here's a TikTok that I posted. That got over 50,000 views in like about 48 hours. I posted it the Thursday, I think, and the Monday when I went to school, I had to stand in the bus all the way to school because now tertiary students were taking the bus. Because I posted that, my University Guild of Students saw it and they were like, girl, that's good. If JUTC decides to have an ambassadorship, we will put your name forward. And I said, thank you. Then JUTC did reach out to the UE Guild to say, hey, we're launching a brand new bus service and we'd love to have some student content creators be a part of it. And I was one of the student content creators that the Guild sent up. And so on September 30th, I delivered my first deliverable for that event. And as you would have seen, I did the teaser, posted it on Instagram, posted it on my TikTok to say, hey, I'm going to be participating in the JUTC Rural Express Routes launch on October 1st, and y'all should travel along with me. And then on October 1st, I was able to participate in that event. It was my first ever brand trip, and it was all because one, I was no longer living on campus, and two, because I decided to do the thing, to just do the thing. I decided to post the content, even though I was a little bit afraid, even though I was a little bit scared. I posted the content anyways, and it got me the opportunity of my first brand trip. And I'll talk so much more in details about that in another video. Number 4, God's timing truly God's timing truly is perfect. So, as you know, that worked out because, God's plan. But also, I was traveling to school every single day. One first week, second week, third week, I'd only paid 25,000 towards my miscellaneous fee. And at the time, my miscellaneous fee or miscellaneous fee is almost 50K. So I was going to school without paying tuition and having only paid like half of my miscellaneous fee. Thank God, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I was getting up every single day and going to school. Even if I only had lunch money and no fare, I could take the bus for free. And I was going to school every single day. And my cousin had set up a GoFundMe for me back in June for some assistance. I'd applied to scholarships and grants, hadn't gotten any call back just yet, but I was still getting up and going to school, getting assignments done, joining my groups, and everything like that. It's final year. I am graduating next year, and I mean that. I am staying overnight at the overnight library to get some assignments done, and I'm praying and I'm saying, God, I do not know what's going to happen as it relates to my fees. So you need to sort that out, my G. You need to sort that out. And I just had this idea to post my GoFundMe link on LinkedIn. My cousin messaged me the next day. She said, Jen, somebody sent $30, somebody sent $10. And I said, girl, how is this blowing up? I didn't even remember I posted it on LinkedIn, right? And so we started seeing it gaining some traction. When I checked LinkedIn about 24 hours after I'd originally made the post, y'all, over 20,000 impressions on the post. So many words of encouragement, so many people who were actively donating from LinkedIn, because sometimes, the persons will put their names as well on the GoFundMe. And I was able to match it back to LinkedIn. And in a span of a week, we were able to meet the goal for the GoFundMe and exceeded a little, which is pretty awesome. And I was able to pay my entire tuition in full, $173,300, just because of that LinkedIn, just because of that GoFundMe, just because God's timing is perfect. Now, the fifth thing I learned in the past 6 months is what you consume shapes what you become. Now, it's that time of the year where everybody's doing their Spotify Wrapped, and now YouTube's launching their YouTube Wrapped, right? And if you've gotten a chance to look at your Wrapped, you will see just what it is that you consumed throughout the year. When YouTube gave me my Wrapped, YouTube was saying, oh, the first half of the year, you consumed a lot of home improvement content, home decor content. In the second part of the year or in the middle part of the year, you consumed a ton of travel content. And now later down in the year, you're consuming more self-improvement content. And that's what I've been taking in. So that's what's going to be coming out of me when I'm speaking to anybody. That's the output that's going to be placed into my life because that's the things that I'm taking in. So what you consume is what you become. So if you consume the Bible, you're going to be spouting biblical principles. If you consume things that are filled with vitriol and hate, then that's what you're going to be spewing. If you're consuming things that are going to help you to just become a better person or to help the people around you, then that's what you're going to be putting forward into the world. So what you consume is what you become. And number 6, which I think is the most important lesson to learn, is rest is productive. Now, so many times, a lot of the content that is put forward is to hustle, 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 work, 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 work yourself to the bone. If you are not going above and beyond, then you are not actually putting in some effort. But if you are not resting, your body's going to shut down. Your body is going to shut down. And even for machinery, there are times of the year when they have to get serviced, which means they have to be down, they have to be off, they have to be resting. So I want you to know rest is productive, rest is important, it is integral. If you are not resting properly, your body is gonna crash. It's gonna crash and burn, honey. You're going to start seeing where you're failing at certain things simply because you're not resting properly and your mind cannot function as it is supposed to function. So, rest is productive. That's it for today's conversation, and I will see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.